and welcome back. In this one, we're going to listen to Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Bonnie Raitt talk about her life as a musician in recovery from drugs and alcohol. If you're new here, I'm James. I'm in recovery. I post videos right here on this channel weekly. Feel free to subscribe and hit the bell, like and share to get this thing out there. Scroll all the way down to the bottom to comment and explore links in the drop-down description where I've posted relevant stuff. Until next time, just keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing a damn thing. Peace.
In this segment, we are delighted to be joined by Bonnie Raitt, singer-songwriter, musician, political activist, philanthropist. She has been on the national music scene for a long time, has recorded close to 20 albums, has 9 Grammys, and in 2000 was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Bonnie's a woman in long-term recovery, one day at a time, one song at a time, probably one gig at a time as well. Bonnie, thanks so much for joining us tonight on Recovery Coast to Coast.
My pleasure, Neil. Thanks for having me. Congratulations.
Without going too deep into the drinking and using days, Bonnie, how bad did it get for you, and what finally led you into recovery?
That lifestyle of a rock and roll and folk musician is, nighttime. A lot of people like waitresses and people that work in bars. All kinds of musicians have kind of an occupational hazard. I think it probably goes with late night radio guys too, and journalists. There's a bunch of professions that really romanticize sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and for good reason. There was a lot of fun, and it certainly was fine. And as for me, as a lifestyle until about my mid-30s, and it was something that just caught up with me. And I looked around at my friends who were getting sober, and I saw that they were producing more great music. They didn't seem to lose any of their edge. They didn't lose their sense of humor. They didn't become loonies, proselytizing, and they seemed to be better in shape, had better, successful family lives, felt better about themselves, and consequently the other people that were around me that were still partying, and myself, I thought I was slower to recover, a lot of downtime, more time hungover than when I was in my 20s. Couldn't always remember what I said to people, was getting kind of sloppy. So for me, it wasn't really a question of kicking and screaming and slobbering all over myself, and or as we say, a nudge from the judge. Thank God I didn't kill anybody or injure anyone. I had more of a lifestyle awakening where I just said, you know what, this isn't feeling good. It doesn't look good. I'm not as productive as I'd like to be, and I don't like who I've become. And so I sat in on some meetings, and I realized that at the great help of some other friends of mine, other musician friends, they, as we say, it's a program of attraction, and I was very attracted to the peace and serenity and happiness and freedom they seem to have. So I gave it a try, and I just took to it like a fish to water. It was really a blessing that it wasn't a struggle for me.
Talk about the making of Nick of Time back in 1989. Bonnie, it won 3 Grammys, certainly one of my favorite CDs. In fact, we often play pieces of that as bumper music on Recovery Coast to Coast. You were newly sober at the time. Talk about the making of that CD.
Yeah, actually, I got sober in February of 87, and by then, about a year into my sobriety, I went away on a retreat and was just so grateful for the changes that had happened in my life that I wanted to give something back and write something from that place. And Nick of Time came out of that retreat and really was an accurate reflection of what my friend was going through at the time, the picking of the biological clock. A lot of my girlfriends, I was 39 at the time. We were talking about staying in relationships or getting out and changing lifestyles that weren't working for us. And it was a real gift to me, from me to myself and to the world, really, for the gift that has been brought to me with sobriety.
Bonnie Raitt joining us tonight on Recovery Coast to Coast. You're constantly standing up and speaking out about your beliefs, frequently doing benefits and certainly giving back what you have so richly received. And you often speak to young people about your experiences with alcohol and other drugs. And back in 2001, you and Kev Mo did that great concert at San Quentin, which was billed as a celebration of sobriety and recovery. What was that like for you, and how important is it, Bonnie, to celebrate recovery?
Well, I think you live it and you broadcast to people without proselytizing. I think you just stand in the place where you're at, and if you have some sense of peace and humility and gratitude, and you're open and loving and kind, and you naturally, when you've had the kind of transformation that sobriety can bring, so it's not an easy path, at least it's something that we have in this great sobriety community all around the world, on the road, I really wanted to be able to do what I'm supposed to do as a public person and share what I've gotten. And for me, a lot of times that sharing in a meeting comes on stage, or in the case of talking to young people about it, or whether people write me letters or radio interviews. The San Quentin experience for me was especially moving because, can you imagine the temptations there are in prison when there's such restriction of your lifestyle? You have to learn to go in to get that peace and that joy. And it's a daily struggle, and we deal with it an hour at a time, of course, and one friendship and one conversation at a time. And so I was very, very moved at the commitment to finding some kind of inner way out, inner freedom that I discovered when I was talking. And before our performance, we had a chance to really get to know some of the people that were in recovery in the program at San Quentin. And I was very moved. It's an incredibly humbling experience.
Bonnie Raitt joining us for a few moments tonight on Recovery Coast to Coast. A few years back, you received the Stevie Ray Vaughan Award for Recovery, spreading the light and helping musicians overcome the harmful use of alcohol and other drugs, which, by the way, was presented by David Crosby. Talk about MAP, the Musicians Assistance Program, and the great work they do.
It is really a long overdue contribution of the music industry for people that are trying to deal with all kinds of issues, whether it's psychological or the repercussions of the ups and downs of this incredibly fickle business. And I know just from having spent 37 years in this business, and a lot of my friends, and I've lost their jobs, a lot of musicians, a lot of roadies, the trickle-down factor for everything from, booking agents to bartenders at clubs that have closed, to record company people that have lost their job in midlife. At whatever stage, you're going to get slammed in a business that really has no solid ground. You're only as hot as your last record, unless you're lucky enough, like I've been and many others, to build a following slow and steady from many, many years on the road. And it's great that Musicians Assistance Project came along when it did. There have been really many, many years and many, many thousands of musicians that had no place else to turn. And it was an endemic problem in our industry that needed to be addressed long ago, but never too late, right on time, as they say. And they've done incredible work at keeping people who have been too ashamed to ask for help. That's the biggest problem with a lot of people. They're afraid they're going to lose work in whatever profession you're in, not just musicians or actors or show business. There's a tremendous amount of shame in standing up and saying you're an alcoholic or an addict, because you're going to get back to the workplace and it's going to get back to your family. And what's great about MAP and what's great about all the recovery programs, I think, is that when you walk in that door, you are just another addict. And that's the thing that we needed to impress upon other musicians. And those personal calls by other people that have been there and tried to stay sober at gigs, that makes all the difference.
We've selected some questions from around the country from listeners, and for each one that we select, we will send them a copy of Bonnie's CD, Nick of Time. First one comes out of Milwaukee, a gal by the name of Laura. How difficult was your first year of recovery, and what is it like for you today? Is it hard not to take it for granted the longer you're in recovery?
Very good question. The first year was, for me, like a honeymoon. They say even the first couple of years, and I have to say that was true for me, because my bottom was a pretty gentle one in terms of, I wanted to lose some weight. I wanted to tighten up my health. In general, just wanted to take responsibility for my own health, physical, emotional, and mental. And I had no idea how deeply the tentacles of addiction were in my life, until I started doing the steps and going to meetings and learning about addiction and how far back it affected my family system. But I'd have to say that first year, I was very, very lucky to have incredible support, and I showed up and I did what I was supposed to do, because I knew that I didn't know anything about how to live unless I got some really good counseling from my fellow addicts. And for me, it was just an incredible return to some feeling of freedom and happiness that I hadn't had since I was about 15 or so. And as for the second question, I never take it for granted. We're around other addicts all the time. We're around people that are, the big payback. We like to laugh. I was just cornered at a party the other night by somebody that was kind of hammered and obviously got some kind of blow or something. And I just went, man, this is the payback for all the times that I probably forced somebody we've all been in that situation. So I every day is a complete adventure in terms of people that you can help, people that are out there still practicing, people that you can, look up to that have had more sobriety than me. It doesn't get necessarily easier. It just gets more rich and more imperative to stay on it because it's not worth the risk. I know that we're all human and people slip, but people have to know that if they're slipping, you can always come back in. And I know that would be the case. If I ever erred, I know I could step right back in.
Seth has a question from Boston, a three-part question. He writes, many musicians fear that they will lose their creativity if they give up alcohol and other drugs. Was that true for you? How has your recovery affected your music? And what particular song of yours most relates to recovery?
Wow, those are good questions, too. For me, in my case, I because Nick of Time happened out of my sobriety, that sort of song and the album, and then I won all those Grammys and my career took off at that point. I can't even think of anybody whose productivity and success more related to a lifestyle change like sobriety. I mean, there was a lot of other elements in place too. VH1 was developed, so they had to replace people my age on television. I had a new record company. Dennis Quaid being in the first video for Thing Called Love was a really good idea because they played it more. And so a lot of things colluded at that time to make things happen. But I really think that contrary to making you less funky and less effective, it really, if anything, it gets you in touch with a self that's burning so bright, whether it's your sexuality or your creativity. I think all of those things get really, really vivid when you become sober. And all the little difficulties and the struggles along the way in sobriety, because you're really awakening to yourself, those are what makes the song sometimes the most interesting of all. I mean, people have always made great music when they were high. I mean, not all people, but there's tremendous amount of great music and literature and film done while people were high. But it's a personal decision when it gets to be too much, when it's going downhill instead of opening up to something that people really want to hear. And for me, the songs that the song Nick of Time is really about a different kind of love. It's not about a romantic love. So the last verse of Nick of Time is really about my recovery. But there's a song called Cool Clear Water that for me is, I think it's on Longing in the Heart. It's a song that I wrote. It's almost like a prayer. And it's about being able to dig deep and turn up the earth in your heart and winter ground that's yourself. The ways that you've shuttered down. And to just to be surrendering to a different kind of a love, so kind of a release. And it's something that whether I'm singing on stage or I just say it to myself, that call for help is just there on a daily basis for me. I'm on my knees all the time.
Final question from a listener, Jimmy G, Salt Lake City. I am a musician in recovery who has struggled mightily, relapsed frequently, and find it terribly difficult to be around musicians who drink and use. Any suggestions?
My sympathies. I totally relate. I don't know how I got so lucky to be released from that obsession when I'm around it, because I don't know how people go on the road, but you probably have other people in your town that are musicians that are trying to be sober as well. And, the way that I do it is just make sure if I'm having any trouble at all that I get on the phone or go to a meeting or get with another person who's a musician. The only musicians are the ones that really understand the ins and outs of the creative process and being at the gig and the waiting around and the frustrations. I know it's very, very difficult to be in that situation professionally. And even when you're writing, if you're used to using pot or drugs to inspire you and suddenly you don't have it, it's very difficult to find a new avenue to swing from. So I wish you all the best, and all I can say is there's community in gathering. There's actually a book that's coming out on Hazelden, I believe. It's about creativity and recovery. I don't know the name of it, but I just did a blurb for it. I forgot the name because I saw the galleys. But I think there's probably some pretty good help now online within the musicians community as well. And maybe Matt would be able to be of help. Good luck. Good luck. I really feel for you. I hope you can make it through.
Bonnie Raitt joining us tonight on Recovery Coast to Coast. I thank you so much for your time and joining us tonight.
Thank you, Neil, so much. keep coming back.
Hello. Hello, and welcome back. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear a low hum of lo-fi hip-hop music? Can you see me? Can you feel me? Can you speak to me? Hello, I'm James. Welcome to my live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also do one at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey Aaron, can you hear me? Boy, it's good to see y'all. Alicia, especially you, I could feel your boredom in the Discord chat. I feel for you. Today's Saturday, so I'm going to keep it light, but in the spirit of LT's sponsor speaking next, my suggested topic, if anyone wants to talk about it, is sponsors and sponsorship and sponsorship. But being Saturday, I think we can just relax and all have a good time. What's up, Merd? Linda, it's good to see you as always. Cody, how's it going, brother? How you feeling? You get any sleep last night? Julie Zenati, I'm all good, Julie? You can hear the music, you can hear me? Excellent. I think I'm getting the hang of this thing. Aaron Yost, it's good to see you coming around again. I appreciate you coming and consistently, and I really am glad that you get something from this, and all of you as well. Marilyn, Alicia, Polly, what's the dealio? Polly, are you the guy in the meeting that as soon as the clock strikes that time, you're like, all right, people, let's get a meeting going. The world needs you, Polly. The world needs you and people like you. And of course, Merd. Christopher Weaver. Hey James, currently 70 days sober. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that with us, Christopher. 70 long days and 70 long nights. It's not an insurmountable task, but it's definitely not a easy one. Trust me, I know, and I'm proud of you, and I'm sure we all are. Cody, no sleep. Sleep still sucks. That'll pass. Your nerves. Alcohol affects the CNS, the central nervous system. And there's a lot that has to do with sleep that involves the nerves and the CNS and all that. Hi, Marilyn. Miss Wistman. 9 p.m. on the East Coast, waiting for my boyfriend to get home and have dinner. Well, you're not on the East Coast, Linda, unless you flew over here spontaneously. Oh, cool, Aaron. What do you do again? I'm glad I can help you get ready for work in the morning. LT, what's the dealio? My suggested topic, in the spirit of your sponsor speaking here in an hour or so, is sponsorship. But I think we're just going to relax and have some time and chat. Zenati. What kind of last name is that, Julie? Well, thank you, Polly. I do believe you're a good dude as well. I've had a good day. I snuck out and did some disc golfing today. It's good to work out. It's a good light workout that's not too strenuous on my back and gets me outside. It was a gorgeous day. Aaron Yost, you manage a sports bar and grill. How long you been doing that? Any problems there? Mark Stolinsky in the building. That's trademarked, by the way, people. Mark Stolinsky is trademarked. Mark, what's up with the sober selfies? I put myself out there and I said, hey, let's get some sober selfies on my new Facebook group, on our new Facebook group, and I got no sober selfies. It was like throwing a party that no one showed up to. There I was, just me and my selfie. What's up with that? Nobody likes posting selfies all of a sudden? Italian, huh, Zenati? Yeah, I guess that's obvious to everyone but me. Well, good. I'm glad you are all here, and I'm glad we're all having a good weekend. Are we all having a good weekend? Like I said, it was good weather today, and I got some disc golfing done with my sponsor, LT. I hang out and talk to my sponsor often. Hang out with and talk to. I beat him again. That's 2 in a row for 7 years. I've only beat him on a handful of times. Hundreds of games. I've only beat him a handful of times. I think today I might have broken over to the other hand for the 6th time that I've ever beaten him, but I've beat him twice in a row. I think this COVID-19 thing could be the best thing that's ever happened to my disc golf game. 2.5 years you've worked at that bar and grill, huh, Aaron? I've never drank, so it's not been a problem for me. Just drugs. I can't drink. Tastes awful to me. Well, good for you. Alcohol is a hell of a drug, and I don't know your drug of choice, but congratulations on staying clean from it. Spectacular, James. Not sure what I asked you, Murd. Alicia B says, I have no before, only after. Wonder what you're talking about, Alicia B. Alicia B! Christopher Weaver, have you watched Brandon Novak talk about addiction, James? I'm not sure. I might recognize his face. I don't recognize his name. Maybe, should I? Is he a VIP? Very important person that I should be recognizing? I'm not sure. Maybe if somebody tells me who he is. Sergio Salgado has a year on April 3rd. Well, good for you, Sergio. A year is no easy task. Psychology suggests that there's something about a year that is very important. Psychologically, and there's something significant about a year. So good for you, Sergio. Cody, your body's finally detoxing? Hey, Jude Waldo, what's up? Existential dread. Other than the existential dread, an okay weekend. Your drug of choice is meth, Aaron. Bad stomach ulcers, so it's painful for me to drink. Well, all addiction is addiction is addiction, and drug is a drug is a drug. Oh, Brandon Novak was on Jackass. Which one was he? I think, you know what? I think I passed by that. I'll check it out. Yeah, the whole Jackass crew was on all kinds of meth, Xanax, all kinds of stuff. That whole production. Sergio, welcome. If you haven't, I've been streaming every day, twice a day, and I'm planning a Zoom meeting tomorrow, Alicia. For those of you who need a Zoom meeting, I'm going to be planning a Zoom meeting for somewhere in midday tomorrow. Alicia, I hear you. And anybody else that needs a meeting, just message me anytime on that Discord. If you don't know what the Discord is, I'll post the link right here. The Discord is an ongoing community that I gain access. You gain access to when you pledge to my Patreon. It's just $3, $3 to $9, or any amount you want to. If you want to pledge $900,000, you're free to do so. I'm just throwing that out there. But the Discord is a very cool resource. But if anybody needs a Zoom meeting, just message me on there, or just start a topic on there, and we can get it going on there. Yeah, Sergio, 1 year is significant. Are you in the 12 steps of AA or NA? And thank you. I love my channel too. It's become my identity. It's become my life. It's become what I love. And thank you for the compliment. Discord app. Patreon is a site that allows me to give you benefits for supporting me as a creator. Oh, I also made a Facebook page that's called Whatever It Takes. There's the link to that. Feel free to go over there and join. You have to pass a rigorous test of one question. That question is, you gonna be cool? You gonna be cool, man? And if you can answer that question, I know it's hard, but if you can answer it correctly, you will be granted access to the Whatever It Takes Facebook page. Marilyn Wisman, mine was alcohol. Mine too, Wisman. Hey, Keisha Payne. I'm grateful to have 2 years of sobriety. I recently lost 3 friends to alcoholism, my grandmother to health issues, non-alcohol related. I do not have to drink alcohol over life or death. Hashtag grateful. Word up, Keisha. Those are some powerful words, and thank you for sharing. And I'm grateful that you have 2 years as well. I wouldn't wish addiction on my worst enemy. At least not anymore. Not anymore since I've done my 4 through 9 step. Antonio! I'm so glad you could make it, slacker. Where you been at? What the deal? How you been? You staying, you keeping it real? You keeping it clean? Yeah, Mert, I would drink alcohol first and then just do all kinds of drugs and basically anything and everything, whether it was a drug or breaking the law. Thank you for being here, Keisha, and thank you for sharing. I don't call this an AA meeting, but I do share what I have experienced in addiction and recovery and everything in between, and feel free to subscribe and hit the bell. I also have a playlist that's it's almost 100 videos now. Feel free to queue any of those up for later. Antonio is an essential worker at Target. I have a theory about Target. Would you like to hear it, Antonio? Yeah, that's good news. That is good news. That's a good job. Do you all deliver food now? Recovering Addicts up next. His sponsor is going to be talking. I'm looking forward to that. I want to know where in the world LT is getting his overly mature wisdom and intellect that is way out of his spectrum. He sure talks a lot smarter than he looks, I'll tell you that. Right, LT? I'm kidding, of course. But if it weren't for your serious dedication to sobriety and your recovery, I wouldn't fucks with you. Tarjay. Yeah, so my theory about Target, well, this is an old theory, so forgive me for any immature philosophies in this theory, but so when I was a teenager or early 20s, I took a look at Kmart, Walmart, and Target. And I said, you know what? There seems to be a pattern going on here. And I said, when it comes to different calibers of good-looking women, it starts at Kmart, where you got your ghetto bitches. Walmart is anybody and everybody, depending on what part of their life they're in and how much they need to be there. But there is a plethora of everyone in there, but it's mostly middle class. And then the Tarjay women, Antonio, Tarjay women. I don't know, maybe guys chime in if you agree with me, or maybe you've noticed this before, but the Tarjay women, let's just put it this way, Antonio, they is off the chain. I noticed the attraction level in the Tarjay compared to definitely Kmart. I think Kmart's going out of business. But when they were in business, yeah, the Target. It's something about Target attracts them. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful women in here tonight. Beautiful women, back me up here. What is that Target that draws y'all like? You know what? I think Antonio's at Target. That is what's drawing all these beautiful women to Target. Bougie ass Tarjay women. Tarjay is bougie. Naughty Antonio. Antonio he's a good guy. Antonio put me onto lo-fi hip-hop music. Now, I would place a bet that I know more about hip-hop than Antonio does. Don't get up in arms, Antonio. I was born in 1980 and I've listened to hip-hop my entire life. However, you being a millennial, me being a Generation Xer, I was not aware until you came along of this lo-fi, delightful, spirit and soul-saving sound that is lo-fi hip-hop. I literally, the videos I make, and all day long, I'm working on my computer, I'm working on the YouTube, I am listening to lo-fi hip-hop now. It's gotten to where on these playlists and these live streams that you put me onto, these lo-fi live streams, I'm already like hearing songs and be like, oh, I like this one. I'm reoccurring lo-fi. Well, you could have fooled me, Antonio. Although Antonio also has sent me that one shit you sent me, I didn't even know what to think of it. I sent it to my buddy. He's a biochemist. He's like super tweaked out intelligent. I'm like, what do you make of this, man? I don't remember the name or the specific of it, Antonio, but it was like this weirdness. Yeah, recovering addict. It puts me in it seriously soothes me. Electrify. I'm a beat junkie, Antonio. I love beats. You couldn't tell by my steady hum of beats in the background. By the way, can you hear the beats in the background? And also, I want to do a sound sound check, a sound test on this thing. Can you hear this? Yeah, work has that effect. Is it too loud, Murd? Oh, Merc said negative. Negative on the sound. You couldn't hear that? Can you hear this? Oh, it's fine. Okay. Thank goodness. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Julie, for that earlier dropping bands on Sober James, making it rain up in here. Thank you very much. I like jazz too, Polly. There is a couple of my videos that have jazz in them. There's one that has a jazz that in it that is just Merc. Is Merc messing with me, everybody? Merc gets in these moods. I don't know if he's like sick of chopping wood and he wants to mess with somebody, or he gets in these moods where he just wants to mess with me. Is Merc messing with me, Polly? Could everybody hear that guitar and that drum beat when SpongeBob was dancing? Keisha's a little bougie, Aaron. I miss 90s music. My husband and I were Burning Man people. That music is real different. What kind of 90s music? 90s R&B is where it's at. 90s rock is bumping. Marilyn Wisman says no. I'm not sure if you only hear the background music. So when I do this, you cannot hear it. You don't hear a funky, hear the drummer get wicked kind of beat. Unbelievable. For those of you who were here in the beginning, that Bonnie Raitt video, could you hear that? And if you could, did it sound echoey? Man, oh man. Let me see here. You know, it's a shame. That Bonnie Raitt video that was playing in the beginning, did it? Oh, Bonnie sounded fine. The only problem is I know how to fix this right here. The only problem is, with this workaround, no sound on SpongeBob that time either. This is... Hey, what's up, Danielle? No sound on SpongeBob. You know, that is irritating. Let me try something here. All right. Talk amongst yourselves. You like that new Tool album? Well, it's about a year old now. If you ask me, when it first came on, I thought it was one of their old albums. Like, literally. All right, we're going to try something now. This should work. Bougie! I think that one worked. Don't mess with me, Merc. I think that one worked. Ah, it worked. Excellent. That is excellent news. Thank you. Just, we'll go ahead and check this. Well, recovering addict, LT, I'm sorry if I have to express my opinions, but any less would be codependent. Tool is an excellent band. All I'm saying is, when their new album dropped, I literally thought I was listening to one of their other albums. So, that's not an opinion, it's just a fact. Oh! I didn't even do that one. Yeah, finally. You know what? You guys just helped me troubleshoot a sound thing that's been bugging me forever. We're doing a damn funky thing now. Tool is cool, okay? Don't throw a little tantrum, LT. Tool. I know how you Tool fans get. And I heard they're fantastic live. Oh, by the way, Radiohead, Polly, and Murd, they're doing an online concert. Not an online, but like a streaming concert. And I think it's free for this COVID thing. I saw that somewhere. Did anybody hear about that? Radiohead live and direct. Radiohead is good. I like Alt J. Any of you guys Alt J fans? Modest Mouse, Lumineers. I dig stuff like that. Yeah, Radiohead, I just heard this or saw it somewhere. They're doing an online quarantine stream. I think on maybe one of those fancy cable channels or something. Yeah, I like it too. I like a lot of these songs. Let me know if the music's too loud, y'all. Thank you, all of you, Linda, for helping me troubleshoot my sound there. That was really bugging me. You still in the building, Danielle? Thinking about doing a Zoom meeting tomorrow. If anybody else is interested, I'll post it on my Patreon. A Zoom, and a boom boom meeting. Thank you, Linda. You're a lady and a scholar. Lady and a scholar, Linda. You're welcome. The Doors. Jim Morrison. Has anybody ever seen I don't know why, but I can't ever think of anything on the spot here while I'm here, but Jimmy Fallon. Has anybody ever seen Jimmy Fallon do a plethora of cover songs exactly like the artists that have done them? He does Neil Young, he does Dave Matthews, and he's done The Doors, he's done Jim Morrison. And I mean exactly. It is the epitome of impersonation. Well, if you haven't ever seen Jimmy Fallon do impressions and impersonations of artists, he plays the guitar and he sings, and he does just about everybody. Doors cover band called The Doors Alive. They're very accurate. That's as good as it gets to emulating the original band. Right on. I once saw a Sublime cover band called, I think it was called Big Fish, or not Big Fish, but something like that. Yeah, Jimmy Fallon actually. My favorite used to be Conan, but Jimmy Fallon and the Roots very decisively took the place of my favorite night show host. I love how they play the games on there, charades and stuff with celebrities. Marilyn Wisman, the least we could do for you, James. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Marilyn. I love doing this stuff. Keeps me sober, keeps me busy, and it keeps my creative mind stimulated. I also like chatting with you all. The egg cracking game. Jimmy Fallon, there's a lot of him on YouTube too. You can just get pretty much any episode on YouTube. I like the song impersonation game where they spin the wheel. One side will land on like Neil Young and the other side will land on Smells Like Teen Spirit. So it'll be Neil Young singing Smells Like Teen Spirit. And Jimmy will have to do it, and then his guest will have to do it. He's had everyone from Justin Timberlake to Aaliyah, you know. And then he does a Seinfeld impression where he had a contest when Jerry Seinfeld was on the show where him and Jerry Seinfeld had a who does the best Jerry Seinfeld contest, Jimmy Fallon or Jerry Seinfeld. And you know, he'd do like classics like who are these people? You know, stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's Between Two Ferns, Cody, and you're talking about Zach Galifianakis. He makes everything super awkward with his guests. I mean, super awkward. I know what you're talking about. I think it's on Funny or Die, Cody. Neil Young played with Pearl Jam. Great moment at the MTV Music Awards. Yeah, Between Two Ferns with that beard guy from, he was on that Date movie with Robert Downey Jr. Then they have dance-offs on Jimmy Fallon. for karaoke. So how many of us have sponsors out there? I'm lucky enough to have found a sponsor that is my best friend, and also his suggestions are gentle enough to where I am allowed to take them or not, but I've learned on my own that taking them is the best move, always. Alicia, I think you said, well, Erin Yost was raising her hand. Don Lapone, how's it going, Don? Welcome to the live stream. We're talking about various things. It's a Saturday night, so we're just keeping it cool, but the light suggested topic is sponsorship in the rooms of NA and AA. Merck has an official sponsor and about 6 unofficial. I dig that. I think it's common to have just a gang of friends that you talk to different things about. I was once at a meeting, the topic was being honest with your sponsor or whatever, and someone was talking about how they have unofficial sponsors and they catch their addiction if they absolutely want to do something. They will go to one person and ask if it's a good idea. They will catch their addiction manipulating which one of these people they go to ask if it's a good idea or not. I would say my father and my younger brother would be my sponsors, even though after my unfortunate relapse, which was 3 months ago, thankfully I'm doing much better while getting sober alone. Awesome, Mert. Glad to hear it. Whatever works, buddy. Whatever works. Don Lapone wants to know, is there any newcomers tuning in? I think there's a couple. Don? Do you have any strength, experience, and hope to share with the newcomers, Don, or me? I'm always open to learn. Julie says, I had Jennifer as my sponsor in Palm Desert. Now I need to find one here in Michigan. Or I can keep Jennifer. Jennifer Aniston? In California, I really connected with her. Julian Wells says, me. I think that means he's representing the newcomer from Cape Breton. Welcome, Julian, and congratulations on being proactive about your recovery. LT from Recovering Addict once educated us on the stages of recovery, and the first 3 or 4 are actually an investigation type. For each different degrees of investigation, we are considering it. The first 3 or 4 steps is like a definitely maybe kind of dance. Don Lapone, I would get someone you can see face to face, but that is just me. It is too easy to spiel out when you are only on the phone. Well, we live in tough times right now, I would say, for early recovery, and my hat goes off to you, Julian, and all the rest in here that are early in recovery. I would agree with that, Don. Addiction is cunning, baffling, and powerful, and it will take anything and run with it, including the fact that you're not seeing your sponsor face to face, which is one of the reasons why I say this must be a tough time for early recovery. This is a tough time for all recovery, which is why I'm just super happy to see you all here. And on LT's channel and my Zoom meetings, and everybody's struggling, addict or not. Don Lapone is talking about Jesus. Paulie Pinch, I just texted my sponsor, asked him, fellow Catholic with a capital C, representing that Catholic way of life, what he's doing for Easter tomorrow. I remember spending Easter with a young lady many years ago. It was the best Easter I've ever had. I was brought up Catholic as well. I was saying the Our Father way before AA. I never liked how we had to hold hands in church while we said the Our Father. But that's just me. Wonder if there's ever going to be hand holding again after this debacle. Paulie Pinch, Jesus is alive. He goes by Philly Jesus. Look him up on YouTube. The dude is great, and everyone loves him. Sounds pretty awesome. Julie Zanotti. Thank you. I like face-to-face sponsor. Just the virus keeping meetings closed, but I'm sure love my laptop to connect with everyone. I'm currently researching online ways to recovery and discussing it. And honestly, there's a lot of different ways. We're fortunate enough to have a lot of different ways. These live streams are one, chatting with everyone on here. The Discord is another. The Zoom meetings are another way. There's also speaker tapes. If you go on AA or NA.org, they have libraries of speakers that just speak, and that tends to help when you're feeling like a lowly, isolated alcoholic or addict. Six-foot C power cord for my cell. Used to celebrate holidays, but I don't. I still like to cook though. I've been cooking recently too, Danielle. I haven't eaten fast food or a restaurant since this whole thing dropped. I've discovered ground beef. You guys checked out this ground beef thing? It's pretty good. I'm making all kinds of ground beef dishes. Don Lapone, it is okay to be a Catholic as long as you have a spiritual program sufficient to keep you sober. There are a million Catholics who have gotten sober. It doesn't matter what you believe. As far as recovery goes, all you need is to believe in a power greater than you that can restore you to sanity, or so I'm told and I believe now. Everyone insists Catholics drink a lot, but it really doesn't matter what faith you are. If you're an alcoholic, you're going to drink a lot. What's up, Merc's kid? Little Merc. Mert, I'm not too bothered by tomorrow. We should have a special dinner every day or every night. Shouldn't take a holiday to acquire that. See you later, Linda. Thanks for stopping by. See you tomorrow. Same sober time, same sober place. Marilyn says she's a hugger. Lil Merc in the building. Keisha says, I lead Zoom recovery meetings twice a day. No one showed up. Thank you for being here. Although I work in recovery, I need recovery too. Isolation to an addict can be a death sentence if you allow it. Keisha, I host Zoom meetings as well. I don't know if you saw the link earlier. I'll post it again where I post the invites. I post the invites publicly right here. And I'm going to be scheduling one for tomorrow because I think we all could use one. So the invite will be there. I'm sorry no one came to your Zoom meeting, Keisha. I posted a sober selfie post on my new Facebook page and no one posted sober selfies but me. I felt a bit like an ass. If you want to go there and post some sober selfies, there's the Whatever It Takes Facebook page group. I just started it yesterday. I don't know, Cody. I'm going to be live streaming at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what time do you guys think? I go by Eastern Time. Well, kudos for you, Keisha, for showing up. Because you never know when the newcomer is going to drop by. And what if he or she drops by and no one's there? And that is what the AA promise is all about. The hand of AA will always be there. So kudos for you for always being there, Keisha. And as addicts, we tend to take things personally. That I know I do, or used to at least, more so than now. But Cody, I'm thinking midday tomorrow, somewhere in between the 11 a.m. and the 9 p.m. live streams. I'll post it to Patreon either tonight or tomorrow. I'll post the invite link to Patreon. Yeah, I know, Cody, you're basically next door to me. I have a feeling you're going to get some sleep tonight. Have you ever tried magnesium, Cody? Or what's that other M word? Mimosa? I'm kidding. Melatonin. Melatonin, magnesium. And in a pinch, in a poly pinch, you can use Benadryl. If you can believe it, when I was in a juvenile delinquent facility for 9 months, I discovered that you could eat any number of Benadryl as long as it was like 10 or more and hallucinate. The only problem was it was accompanied by delusions as well. And the difference between a hallucination and a delusion is with delusions, you actually believe what you were seeing. So it's a mind trick. I took 11 and could barely handle it. I was seeing bugs and stuff. But 2 other delinquents took 30 each, and they were bugging out. They got themselves in trouble. They were taken to the hospital, get their stomach pumped. One guy was boxing the coat rack, and the other, this was at night after lights out, and the other guy was ripping all of his sheets and covers off his bed because with delusional stuff, you actually believe. I know with acid, if you see some stuff, you may still be aware that it's not real. With this particular, whatever drug made you trip in Benadryl, and it wasn't pleasant, so I'm hoping no one goes and tries this. It wasn't pleasant at all. But something in there made you believe in what you were seeing. But, Cody, if you take one Benadryl, it has a drowsy effect that knocks me out every time. It's actually pretty useful. Yeah, I went through a phase where I would study pharmaceuticals, and I found out a whole bunch of different over-the-counter stuff as a teen. You could trip on the stuff in Robitussin, DXM. You could trip on Dramamine, which is motion sickness pills. I took like 10 of those and also got delusional. Aaron, I have to get ready to sort 100 pre-filled Easter eggs so that I know each kid doesn't get 10 of the same thing. Been dreading it all day, but gotta get these baskets ready. Parents' work is never done. Well, good on you, Aaron. My little lovebird, Kelly, just texts me and says, I seem a bit down tonight. She told me to smile. So, sorry if I seem a bit down. I just got some exercise today, so I'm kind of even-keeled. Actually, why am I apologizing? I'm not sorry. It's Saturday night. We don't need to be talking about recovery 24/7. We did this morning, and I'm sure we will tomorrow morning. But Kelly, I'm not down. I'm just well rested, and I'm just relaxing. You just want me to know you're watching, Kelly, and I see you. Yeah, holidays for me, I don't really celebrate. To be honest, I didn't even know. I mean, I forgot tomorrow was Easter. It didn't even register. Yesterday was Good Friday. It didn't even register. Just doesn't register. Not really a, practicing Christian. Has anybody got any social plans tomorrow? Touching, hugging, eating ham? Anybody just saying, fuck the coronavirus? We getting together? Pre-filled eggs. Well, that's efficiency. Yeah, well, I'm not a big fan of kids, Cody, and I know I'm just not a big fan of kids. I got lucky and got sober by the time I realized that, because I honestly used to think everybody has kids. That's just what you do, is get married and have kids. But when I got sober, I got to get to know myself, and I suddenly realized around my niece and nephew, like, I don't think I like kids. I mean, other people's kids are cool and all. I got no problem with kids in general, as long as they're not little loud badasses that like want to take your glasses off with their pee-pee hands. Thank you, Julie. I am enjoying my Saturday evening. I'm nice and clean. I got food in the fridge. I got all of you to talk about recovery and addiction with. My YouTube channel's not doing bad. I got some work done today. I got some play done today. We don't have COVID. I realized today that we should be grateful that we're not diagnosed with COVID, and I'm sorry if anyone out there is. But I'm grateful that I don't have it, you don't have it, that no one close to me has it. Danielle had her son when she was 17, and he's 16 now. But that's cool, you get to enjoy life with him without being all old and frail all the time. Young parents are cool in my book. My mom had me late, and my dad too, and my sister adopted a kid when her and her husband were around 39, and then 5 years, because they couldn't have it, and then 5 years later they got pregnant. What's up, Kelly? How you doing? Did you figure out the whole video debacle, Kelly? Because I promise you was tripping. But we all trip sometimes. It's all good. Yup. If I got a bae, if I got a boo, Kelly, it's you. So, but as we've discussed before, even after we get sober, we're not necessarily ready for relationships. And Kelly has been understanding about that. But I think whether we like it to admit it or not, Kelly, I think we're in a relationship of sorts. All right, y'all, we got 3 minutes, well, 2 minutes now. And LT's sponsor is up next. I'll post LT's channel right here. Oh, again, I don't have it queued up. So I'll just post my Patreon. For those of you who want to go over to LT's channel, his channel is Recovering Addict, spelled just like that, and he's going live here in a couple minutes. And we have the pleasure of hearing his sponsor talk. And good to see you, Kelly. I'm sure I'll be talking to you shortly. And the rest of you all, thank you for coming. Look on Patreon for a Zoom meeting invite for tomorrow. And I'll see you on Discord. Merc, good seeing you. Thank you, Merc. Alicia, Aaron, thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for sharing your experience, strength, and hope. And I will see you when I see you. And keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing the damn thing. All right.